In this video, I'm going to be answering a question that I got in an email from a subscriber that needs help with what type of equipment to place in their new sanctuary to get video and live streaming and all that fun modernization stuff going at their church. So let's go. Folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. All right, so I got an email from subscriber, and I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong. It's Nevin Matthew. So I don't know if it's Matthew Nevin Matthew. So my apologies. First off, he's saying, "Hi, I'm a big fan of your channel and I appreciate all the content that you post." Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Glad you're getting some use out of the stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube. We are in the process of renovating a building to use as a church. Layout is attached. We currently use ProPresenter from a Mac Mini to display the slides. I have a few goals for the AV setup. Display service slides on the front 82-inch screen TV and use the back 82-inch TV as a stage display. Number two, use PTZ cameras or Panasonic cameras to output the video to the child care room, fellowship hall, and possibly the sanctuary front TVs. All right. Then number three, they want to live stream the same content from number two, the live video. Okay. And then number four, they want to show announcement slides on the lobby 50-inch TVs as well as the fellowship hall TV. And for number one, what they currently have is he is using a Thunderbolt output. I'm assuming Thunderbolt to HDMI to an Ori HDMI splitter. And then one of the splits goes to another Ori HDMI over Cat6 Ethernet to the front TVs, and one back TV in the sanctuary. Okay. Can you suggest equipment that I should look into to accomplish this? Any help will be greatly appreciated. All right. So this is not major, but you're going to need some. I'm going to do this in two approaches. Actually, no, I'm just going to do it in one. This is going to be my suggestion to actually do what they have. Now, what he's asking is not complicated. It's just that it is very, you're going to have multiple inputs going to multiple outputs, and they're going to be independent of each other. So at one point in time, he's saying that they want the fellowship hall to get what's going on in the sanctuary, but then in the next moment wants to have the fellowship hall and the entrance in the lobby doing announcement slides. So you're going to need multiple outputs for that. So let's go ahead and cut over to the computer, and we're going to talk about how I would design this. All right, so this is the floor plan that was sent. And what we want to do is, again, let's walk through again what their plan is. So what they want to do is display service slides on the front 82-inch screen TV and use the back 82-inch TV as a stage display. So we have, these are the front and this is the AV booth. So let me go ahead and put a Mac computer here, and we're going to put this over here and say this is our Mac Mini. Now, I don't know what the specs of this Mac Mini are, but we might need to address something different here in this system. All right, so they're saying pretty much, if I jump ahead, that they're doing a Thunderbolt out to HDMI. I'm assuming that's what that is, because it's connecting to an Ori HDMI splitter. So let's go ahead and get this box over here. All right. And we're going to say this is, I'm going to put it outside of here so y'all can see it easily, HDMI splitter. So that's coming out from here. So let's do a line out into this HDMI splitter, and let's make this a little bit big so you can see it. All right, so it's going from there to a HDMI splitter, and then one goes to another ORI HDMI to Ethernet extender. So let's go ahead and copy this, and we will call this HDMI to Cat 6. All right, so we have one connection coming to this, and then we have the receiver that I'm just gonna place over here somewhere, and then this is connected to here in some way, shape, or form, and I'm assuming that another splitter is on here, because that's how you can get this going to both monitors. So let's copy this again. Boom. And then let's connect this from here to here, and then from here I was going to say this isn't a shape that I made, so to here, and then to here. All right, so that's how it's going to connect those two. And then they're saying that also have another one going to the back. So if this is on a splitter, I'm assuming, yeah, because it's saying he goes to an HDMI splitter, and then one of the splits goes to another ORI HDMI over Cat 6. So I'm assuming this other output, no, don't want to do that. This other output is going to this back monitor like that. All right, so let's address this one first. If you want to use the stage display and Pro Presenter, you can't have all of this going on the same cable. You need to have a separate output for each monitor. So what I would do is take this HDMI splitter out of the picture. Well, you know what, let me address this stuff. Let's finish designing everything first before they say anything else. All right, so that's that. And then they want to add cameras so they can live stream as well as go to the other outputs. So let's go ahead and pick a camera here. And again, I don't know how many cameras they said, so I'm just gonna put 2. You can always add as many as you want. And we need another computer because they want to live stream. That's what they want to do with the live stream, but they want this to connect to this. So we don't have any way to connect this right now. All right, and then they want to live stream. We already adjusted that. And then number 4 is they want to show announcement slides on the lobby 50-inch, which I'm assuming is right here at the top right here. And then they also want to display in the fellowship hall right here. So there's going to be another splitter right here. All right, so they want to know what type of equipment to to use with this. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how I would plan this. All right, so what I was saying originally is if you're going to use Pro Presenter, which is what they're saying they're doing, to have separate outputs, you need to have a separate video output for each one. So if you're using the stage display and the front, those are 2 separate inputs. Again, I don't know what the specs of the Mac Mini are, so I'm just going to assume that it's possible to do this. So if he's already doing a Thunderbolt to HDMI, what you probably need to do is get another one. So what I would do is remove this splitter completely. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. And let's just address all this. All right, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. So we're going to assume that we need 2 outputs from here. All right. One for the front and one for the back. Now, to do this, especially with wanting to do slides and all this other stuff, the A10 Mini, I don't think will be enough for this. I could be wrong, but I know it's not going to be enough for this, because you want to have video going into the sanctuary, but then you want at minimum, see, in the email he was saying that also wanted the video that's coming from the sanctuary to be in the child care room, the fellowship hall, and possibly the sanctuary front TVs. So I'm just going to build this as if I was doing this. So it sounds like it that they don't necessarily want video to go in the sanctuary. They just want the output from that. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier to do this. So what I would do is I would use a regular ATEM Television Studio HD, because it gives us an aux output. So let's do this ATEM HD. So I would connect one input to that, and then another input, let's delete that. Another input would go into the ATEM Mini as well. Now from the cameras, we would connect that to the ATEM as well. And then for the live stream, we would connect, and you need a capture card for this since we're using the full version of this, not the ATEM Mini. We would connect that to our streaming PC. All right. That's how I would do this. Now, for output, you can still use this Cat6 extender, but you're going to need to do some other things. Now, if there was an option, I would rather do SDI, but if you already have this in place, I like to try and use what we can without having to buy new stuff all over again. So we have an output here. You can do this in 2 different ways. What I would do is add a Blackmagic SDI distribution box. And I don't need that fill to be that color. Let's move this over here. So I'll just SDI distro. Now what this does is SDI in and then SDI out everywhere else. So let's make this a different color so you can tell what this is. So, and also we're talking about HDMI. So this would be, this camera would be SDI. You need to convert those, I'm assuming. That could be PTZ or whatever. If it's a regular camera, you need to get an HDMI to SDI adapter, which I've talked about before, that you can run this here. And then the computers, they can be HDMI. So the ATEM HD gives you 4 HDMI inputs, 4 SDI inputs. So we have an SDI, let's label this SDI out. And I need to change the color to all of these so it makes it easier. So this needs to be SDI, this needs to be SDI, this is SDI. We'll change that to red. And this is SDI. All right. Now you do have, actually no, you don't have an HDMI out on the ATEM Television Studio HD. So you can convert that very easily. We'll add a converter here, and that will be SDI to HDMI. Let's make that a little bit smaller. So this will be connected here. You'll convert over to HDMI, then you go from there. Honestly, I would say it would be easier just to run be cleaner to run SDI to each of the TVs, but since you have it separately, don't worry about that. All right, so we're gonna do an SDI to this little box, which should be red. And now the neat freak in me is now kicking in, because I want the cables to be clear so you can see which one is which. All right, so that will still send a signal, so both of the front TVs are going to show the exact same thing. All right, and that's Ethernet going through here. Nothing has changed here, and that would go. Now, what I would, like I said, what I would really recommend is, instead of doing this, since we already have this, I'm sorry for going back and forth. I'm going to do this the way, like I said, if I was doing this myself. So let me take this out, take this out, take that out, take that out, take that out, and take that out. So what I would do is we would run cables directly to this TV here. And let's do another one here. Here. And we're going to get another converter, which is going to be the opposite, where it's going to be, oh no, I already actually had it. So we're going to copy this, and it's going to be one of these SDI to HDMIs on every TV that we're going to use. All right. So let's go ahead and connect this to this. And then we're going to do another one on this TV. All right. So that will go here. And that will go to each feed. And this is just your regular output. Now the ATEM Television Studio HD gives you an aux out as well. Now this is what you need to think. How do you want this stuff to go? So if you want to have a separate output for every monitor that you want to show your auxiliary out, which would be announcements or anything different than from the main, you would need another SDI distribution box. And I'm just going to place it over here just so it makes it easier for you to see over here. And maybe I need to set this as a color. And I'll do that as well too. All right. So this is going to be connected with the auxiliary out. I'm going to slide this over here. Wrong color. I meant to do the line. So this is SDI out as well, but this is going to be our aux out. Now this one, this is where we will connect to, and let me copy this SDI to HDMI. I'm going to put that on this monitor, put this one on this monitor, the one over here, one over here, and one over here. And I didn't include the one that's going to be on this back wall. But this is, I'm just going to give you some options on this one here. So what we would do now is, because we want, he said they want the lobby and the fellowship hall to show announcements, but also the chance of showing what's going on in the sanctuary. This is where we need to have those being separate. So this would connect here, here, and here. All right. So that is all SDI cable. Now I like SDI because you can go 300 feet before you have to boost the cable. So just looking at the dimensions that are on here, you're not going to be running into that, so that won't be a problem. All right, now from this main distribution, now these distribution boxes have 1 line in and 8 out, so you can always have multiple connections. So we aren't using much yet. So we have 1, 2, and actually I need to repurpose this because we're going to do SDI out from here into our streaming system as well. All right. So SDI is going to this everywhere, and it's going to our streaming PC. So we're good there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and these are the wrong color too. Maybe I should have did in and out different colors. Yeah, I should have did that. Anyway, we don't need this. We don't need that one. So right now we have 1, 2. And since we're going to be doing this mainly from this screen, we're going to run these cables as well to these other monitors. So that's going to be to this one. And this one. Now I need to specifically move these out the way so y'all can see where these are connecting from. So sorry for my myth. All right, that's red. That's red. And I'm going to change these colors so you can see which distribution box this is coming from. So let's change this to purple. It's going here, as well as these two are coming from here. All right. So, and let me get rid of one line here, because based off of what they said, the back screen is only going to do the stage display. So you don't need to cut into this. You don't need to record this. This is going to be a direct line into that monitor. So we're going to connect, if it's close enough, you can run just HDMI to this back monitor, or you could do run a SDI, convert it over to SDI and then run it there. I'm assuming that it's going to be close enough. So we're just going to run, actually I don't need this box. We're just going to run this cable directly to this TV. And why is it pointing to that? All right, so that's what we have going on here. So this is for the back display. It's connected directly from an output from the Mac Mini into the back screen, because that's going to be the stage display. You need that. Everything else is going to be through the ATEM. Now, in here, by doing this, you can switch in between the two cameras. The main output that's coming from ProPresenter is also in the ATEM HD, Television Studio HD. So you can always do lower thirds, mix and match, all this other stuff, which will go to the TVs throughout the entire building. Now, in the ATEM Television Studio HD, you can say at any point in time, output the exact same thing that's on your main output, push to your aux. So now whatever is on the main screen will go to everything. But since all these other monitors that he mentioned are on the auxiliary out, he can easily say, hey, push the direct out from ProPresenter that's running slides, and that's going to go to the other monitors. Now you have to be careful of that, because when you're running announcements, you can't use the, I don't know the version, I haven't played around with version 7 yet, but if you're running announcement slides to those other TVs using ProPresenter from the Mac Mini, you won't be able to do anything else on the other screens. You will be able to do the stage display, I believe. No, actually, no, you can't, sorry. Just know if you're running announcements, you can't use the ProPresenter for anything else at that time, if you're using anything lower than version 7, I believe. So this is what I think I would put in this system based off of what he told me. So let's go ahead and I will have a link in the description to all the products that I talked about, but I think this would fit every single thing that they asked for and based off of what they're talking about. Now, again, I added some enhancements in here. I got rid of the Aura HDMI to Ethernet extender. You could easily put that back in place if you wanted to, instead of it being 2 lines out from here directly to the TV with converters. You would just need one converter in here to go from SDI to HDMI, then that would connect to the extender. Now, the reason I did it this way is because every time you end up adding, and that's a new update for the ATEM that I did last night, every time that you add another device in between your main signal, you're adding some latency to it. So in this setup, again, I wanted to have as few devices going through. So you're literally going from the ATEM to a distribution box directly to the system. So you might add 1, 2, or 3 frames of delay inside of this. Now, I didn't even include it. The audio would be connected directly to the ATEM television studio, so you're getting all of the sound that's coming through the system going directly to the ATEM. So there will be a link in the description for all the stuff that we talked about. So Matthew Naveen, sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Hopefully that helps. And that's about it. So if you like this type of content, I'd appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. And if any of y'all ever wanted any stuff like this, kind of a high level you want me to go over with you, send me an email here at my email address here below, and I will do my best to help you out. Now, if you want something official, go to my website, select consultation, and I will, we can set up some time for me to plan out this for you. If you want me to do it, my company to do it for you, just let me know. In the description, hit me up, ajhomes.com consultations. And I think that's about it. So we will see you on the next video. Later.